Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. You've joined me today in the Porsche Taycan rear wheel drive model. This is a new car from Porsche South Africa. It's just been launched. It's coming in around 2.2 million rand. And for your 2.2 million rand you are getting a single electric motor on the rear axle, as well as a 2-speed gearbox on that rear axle. Some futuristic noises and sounds going on there. Electric motors winding. With this car you've got the gear that engages. It engages in quite an aggressive way depending on the mode you're in, but we'll get into that further on into the drive. But yeah, this is the rear wheel drive Porsche Taycan. Unlike its Turbo S model, it's not going to tear your face off when you put your foot down on the accelerator. That's not what this car is about. This car is about going from A to B in absolute luxury, but still maintaining quite a high level of performance in terms of what you would be used to coming from a Porsche, coming from perhaps a Panamera, or you've probably driven or owned more premium cars from other manufacturers. Talking 7 Series, S-Class, A8s, high performance SUVs maybe, and you're looking for something different. So this car is aimed at someone looking for luxury and performance, but something in a bit of a different package, something new, fresh and exciting. So single motor on the back. That single motor in its normal driving modes, good for about 240 kilowatt and around 345 newton meters of torque. Now when you dial it up, put it into sport mode now, it gives you a little bit more power, but only if you're using launch control. So you actually have to dial it up into Sport Plus, but that turns on, as you will hear. When you dial it up into Sport Plus, it turns on this synthesized engine noise almost, or electric motor space shuttle kind of sound. Very interesting. It's an option in this car. Porsche is fitted with some other options as well. But you have this Sport Plus mode that gives you 300 kilowatt out of the motor and battery pack. That 300 kilowatt will take you from 0 to 100 in just under 6 seconds, and top speed of around 230 kilometers an hour, I believe. The other cars, the range toppers, the Turbo S will do 250 thanks to that 2-speed gearbox that I talked about. You really feel the gearbox work when you're in Sport Plus and you accelerate hard off the line. As you get to about 120, 130, you feel the second gear kick in, and it's quite an aggressive kick. It almost feels like an old school AMT robotized manual gearbox. This sound though, I don't know if it's coming across very clearly, but depending on the throttle position, how aggressively you get on the power, and depending on your brakes, the car makes these different kind of spaceship sounds. You get used to it after a while, and it kind of works nicely with the Sport Plus mode and driving in Sport Plus mode in that theme. But for everyday use, I kind of just switch off that synthesizer sound and leave it in normal, because you've got plenty performance in normal mode actually. So I'm just going to dial it back into normal, and then we're just going to cruise around for a little bit, talk to you about the Taycan and some of its features. So inside this car you've got a classic Porsche 3-spoke steering wheel with just the basic amount of controls on the steering wheel. You can adjust volume, you've got some shortcut keys, and there's an energy recuperation button here as well. And then you've got the little track scrolly wheel on the right side, as well as access to a menu, which you will see in the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster on the car is fully digital. It's a first actually for Porsche to go with this full digital setup. But the nice thing is the speed's right in the middle, and you get this interesting kind of power recharge bar that alternates right and left. So when you're on the power and accelerating, the blue bar kind of pulls up, and then when you get off the power, it goes back to the middle. If you've got the recuperation on, you'll see it go more onto the green side, meaning it's taking energy back and putting it back into the battery to kind of give you back some range. But yeah, I've started and I've been driving now for about 5 minutes, and I haven't lost much range, although I haven't been really getting on the power and off the power a lot. But I did find that if you are aggressive with your usage of the power and the accelerator, I should say, the range tends to drop very quickly. And of course, in Sport Plus mode, if you're doing launch control after launch control, don't expect to get anywhere near the 490 odd kilometer claim range that the car is going to give you. But what I found with this car and with other EVs that I've driven is that the claimed range is based on what you are doing at that moment in time or what you've been doing just beforehand. So if you drive your car aggressively all the time, the car kind of picks that up, and it kind of gives you an estimated range based on how you've been using it. So if you drive it moderately, the car will kind of set itself up to give you moderate kind of power delivery and all of that. Fortunately, with the driving modes, you can dial it up whenever you want and get on the power, enjoy a spirited drive. But it's more or less set up for those moments where you are basically cruising along in traffic like we are now today in Johannesburg. Quiet, coming to a stop. You hear the electrical system. Now the synthesizer was switched off there, but you still hear mechanical and electrical kind of winding sounds, which is very cool, very different to a normal internal combustion engine. And I find it quite interesting, a lot of fun listening out for all the new sounds and things that these electric cars make. The Taycan is very well insulated. Even this as a base model, if you could call it a base model at 2-point-something million, the base model is well made. You've got nicely glazed windows that keep the noise out in terms of wind, especially around the mirror. You do get a bit of road noise from the tires. These have the upgraded wheels and tires in terms of being 20-inch. These wheels and tires, by the way, cost around 50,000 Rand as an upgrade. I'm told that there's another upgrade, a 21-inch wheel that will cost around 200,000 Rand almost. But it's up to you when you're speccing your car. You can go to town. I mean, there's so many options in this car, and it's nowhere near where you can take it. I spent some time speccing up the Taycan on the Porsche website a few nights ago. I easily added over R1 million worth of options on the car, and then it was quite fascinating to see that I had not even tickled the surface of the options and what you can actually add to it.